Hey guys, it's Mini Monday Madness. Today we're painting some mini kind of like beginning winter snow scenes. You know, I know everyone's been asking. To me, I practiced on this one first and then I decided to do this one first. And this is how you can make things completely different from like my tutorials to create your own design that's unique. You change up the trees, you change up the backgrounds, you change up the shadows. Like I have them coming this way, change up that way. You know, play around with it. Anyway, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I have exclusive tutorials there weekly. And each month, if you're on the super tier, you get a free download that I created that you can use for your personal use that I painted. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments section. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to go over the supplies as usual from the Mini Monday Madness. I'm always using a 3x3" square artist cold press paper, or otherwise I would denote it. And I always have every supply in the description box, and I also have some affiliate links in there to, if you don't have the actual products, you can just link on that if it's easy for you to find that way. I kind of did a warm-up one. I did something similar to this for my Patreon. It was bigger. There was more fallish. This is going to have snow. So you just have your square. I just drew in. So you want to draw in, you know, any kind of mountain or little hill. Could be going this way. Could be going this way. Could be smaller down here. Could be higher up here. Change it up. I just sketched in some trees. And what we're going to do is we take this masking fluid. I have this cheap PBO masking fluid. I use a crappy little brush for it. And see, this is a nasty little brush. And actually this masking fluid got a little nasty. So wherever you draw on the trees, these are going to be birch trees. Oh my God, see how it's all caked up? Anyway, you're going to just fill that in with the masking fluid. Real simple. And the reason why we're doing that is it's just easier to flush in the background color. As you see in the one that I have to the left, the one that I practice with, I don't always practice some of my tutorials, but sometimes I like to see how they're going to come out. You're going to be basically wet on wet bleeding in the background. So you want to keep the trees, you know, white. And then you could do a bunch of these really quickly. All different types of like, compositions, how the trees are going, whatnot. I'm changing this one up just to show you how you do a variety. You know, I know that when I do some of my tutorials, if people are starting to get really good at it and they want to start selling some paintings because people like them, you just have to change the whole, you know, it can't look exactly the same. You just change it to something that you would do. So here's an example. So I had this tutorial, well, my trees are all like this with that. You change the trees up. You change the, you know, the style of the trees. You can add different trees. And that's what makes it unique and different. You know, I'm giving you the idea and you just change up the idea. Okay, so when you get that in, you're going to dry it, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how you flush in the colors and paint in some shadows. Once that's dry, we're going to play with bleeding in colors in the background. So I'll get a brush any size. You know, I'm using I'm sorry, wrong brush. Using a grumbacher 10, and I'm just going to wet the area that's not going to be the snow behind the tree. I got a little too much water, so you can just lift that up and put it on your paper towel. You don't want it sopping wet, just damp. And this one was just all browns in the background. I might want to change this one up. Have a little blue sky in the top. Grab whatever blue you have. I have some peacock and Prussian blue. And I'm just going to put some of that blue in that I didn't have in the first one. This is how you change things up. And then I can go in and bleed in some browns, some oranges around the trees. So you have cadmium yellow deep, and I have brilliant orange. Just mixing them up. And this dark brown. which is the VAnDyke brown. And just keep playing around with putting in color. You could put in some reds. I didn't do that the last time, but heck, you could put in purples, whatever color you want. Throw in some golds. It doesn't really matter, really. Maybe get some black. I'm gonna just place in here a little bit. And because it bleeds, you get these nice, different, you know, looking textures and trees in the background. So these kind of bled like little trees. I didn't do that one, So you could just, like I said, that would just flush the whole color in. You change it up. It doesn't have to be anything particular. Add some red and a little black back here. Running out of my VAnDyke brown. I've been using so much of this. I gotta try some burnt sepia from Holbein. I need to get some more paints. I've been using so many of the similar paints. So, you know, play around with the background. If you want to add texture, you can put just a couple of sprinkles of salt on there and let that wait till that completely dries though. And then you have another really cool, unique texture. So I'm just blushing in color here. And then we're gonna while that's drying, we can go in, I put little rocks in here. So you just put little rocks. So you just grab some browns, a little bit of gray, and just putting in rocks, just like this. You know, rocks can be not totally black, they're like gray and brown, and I don't think you pick up a rock that's like one color. See, I'm doing like a scattered, it's like a half moon, but then scattered tail to it, because no rock is going to be covered from snow. You're going to see the complete, you know, size of the rock, and then little ones, just to make it different. Oops, it's a little dark. Just lift up the paint a little bit. All right, I'm getting a little very rocky. The rocks are out of control. So you just put a few of those in. And now at this point, we're going to wait for everything to dry. I'm going to come back in and add shadows and the trees. Okay, so just like this one, the shadows. Now, I have the shadows going because the sun's coming from the right going to the left, going downward from the right to the left. You could have the sun coming in the opposite way, or the sun coming from behind this way, so the shadows would be coming this way. So if the sun's coming in this way, you probably would have like a little, you would take your paper towel and just lift up some of the color because the sun's coming in this way. But that's how you do it. So wherever the sun's coming in, it's like the opposite. So the sun's coming in straight, the shadows are coming this way, the sun's coming on this side, this way, this side, this way, or this way, they're kind of going this way. That make any sense? You want your shadows to have, it could be gray, but more blue-gray I prefer. So I'll mix my blues, and I'll hint a little black in there, depending on how bright you want it. And then, so I'm going to just show you what I did in here. Like this one, the shadows are coming from here outward, from the trees. And don't forget the trees have branches, so then the trees got this, it's going down by the rock, and then you can see the branch from the tree, right? That's how it look. Mine got a little messy there, but that's okay. The intense tree and some branches. And you can get a little bit darker if you want to, just to make it like pop more. And then you could do some little ones here coming from the rocks. Not too much. See, I got a little overboard with the first one. See the shadow? Now, at this point, this is dry. I have a the Princeton number 8 long round. I like it because I like the pointy tip. We're going to put in the background trees I did here. I painted it after I lifted up the masking fluid. I'd wait, and I'm like, oh, why did I do that? It'll make it much easier for yourself if you just painted the trees before you pick up the masking fluid, which I did not do. So that was not smart of me. And I think I'm going to make just kind of like different types of trees here. Bending and moving, sporadic, that I didn't do on the first one. You can make all kinds of trees. Just those little skinny little teeny branches. Just deep, super deep brown or black. And you can come up into the blue part. Wider, skinnier trunk. Whatever works for you. See, it's already looking a little bit different than the first one. Texture would help. And whatnot. Okay, at this point, we'll have to let that dry again. You can go in and the rocks at this point and go in and add some. I did a little sprays just with the tip of my brush from the snow. So this is kind of like what we went through here in New England and Massachusetts. We got some snow before Halloween. We still had some leaves in the trees. Now, of course, they're all falling down. But this is now November, so I figured let's do a November snow scene where you got the trees still kind of in colors, but your snow, so the grass is peeking through. The grass could be a little bit yellow gold too. I didn't do that in the first one. You can have some green peeking through too. Just putting some of that, you know how the grass is in the snow. Wisping it up all over the place here. Just with the tip of the brush. Don't go overboard with that too, because you can. It's easy to do that. Like I'm kind of doing here. Okay, so it's somewhat dry. Then you take this rubber cement pickup. I have that in my description box also. It's a link. It goes, they're like $4 on Amazon. And then you can lift up your birch tree. If you don't have this, you just paint around it. It's a little more difficult. You could try and put tape down. I have a tutorial on that. Birch trees using tape. Painting around is a little more tricky, but like I said, these are very inexpensive. So again, go back in and take this Princeton brush with the tip, and then I'm going to grab my Paynes gray black, and I'm just going to start making those marks that you see on birch trees. See, I haphazardly go back and forth, kind of like zebra stripes. And because the sun's coming from that section, we're going to put, just really quick. This is so easy. See, I'm just doing this really fast. Woohoo! Just throw them in. Making this a pretty quick tutorial today. I think there's some rubber cement pickup there. That's okay. I mean, masking fluid. So putting those knots in across the tree. And then now we take the gray, black, and we put the shadow on the tree on the side where the sun isn't hitting it. And that's just going to really pop it. See? Just putting that in there. Gives it real dramatic effect. Right? Like I said, if you want your shadow to be a little bit darker blue, gray, you can go in and fix that. Might tweak it a little bit. Get it a little darker here. You know, it could stay dark and then light. Just tweaking a little bit. But that's pretty much the premise of it. This is how we do it. Just going in and tweaking, adding. There you go. Really simple. This guy didn't even have a shadow. To blue, black, whatnot. And then just play around with adding colors, grass, greens, whatever, if you want to add some greenery to it. Just as a little grass still peeking through, mostly browns. Put a little animal. I know it's so tiny, but you could put like a little bird. You could put a little red cardinal on the branch. Let me see if I can actually fit that one in. Little bird peeking through. There he is. I think I made a red blop. Yeah, it looks like a red blop. So exactly, that happens. Just fix that. You know, if it's so tiny, take a marker. See, this is what happens if you make a mistake like this. You just go in and take the water, kind of push it around, and lift it up. And I'll just go and tweak it. I'll add some blue. You won't even know what happened. I'll know. You'll know. Because you guys are my subscribers. But the rest of the world will be like, what? All right, so I didn't mention that I put down Scotch tape. I like it because it holds down better than the washi tape. It does rip up the cardboard in the bottom, but you know, if you don't have a cardboard, if you have like one of those cutting mats, you'll be fine. And there you go. So it's a lot different than this one, just more dramatic with the blue. Just more subtle. Just different ways you can do it. Change it up, you know. You could have more fall-looking trees back here, still with the snow. Or evergreen trees. There's different ways you can change it up. Evergreen trees, or no trees in the background. Just the birch trees. So I hope you guys enjoyed this mini Monday Madness. Don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorial's up. I'd love it if you could tag me when you do these on Instagram. It'd be great. Just helps me grow my channel. Appreciate it so much. And I think that's it. Oh yes, don't forget to check out my Patreon on Thursdays. I have exclusive tutorials there on Thursdays with downloads. And once a month, if you're on the Super Patreon tier, you get a free download of a painting that I've created that you can use for your personal use, not commercial use. You can print it out, give it, you know, as a gift to your friend, put it on your wall, whatever, just something like that. So thank you guys so much for being awesome channel subscribers, and take care, and I'll speak to you soon.